Welcome to SFN, your preeminent source for space and defense news and all things tangentially related. We're your hosts, loyal to the Puffin Foil here at Houston Mission Control, and we've got Alara of Sirius in low Earth orbit, and we're here live every Sunday night.
Space Force News Live, Sunday night. I believe this is number 26. I am your host, Alara of Sirius, here with my wicked smart co-host, loyal to the foil. Good evening.
What up, Space Peeps?
Good evening, Space Peeps. How's everybody doing this evening? I hope fantastic. I see Joeen, hi Paula, Fearless, Rainbow Snuggle Fritz, Michael, Jam 54, Suiterbug.
Oh,
hey, good to see you, Suiterbug. Oh, look, I got somebody found a Puffin GIF on D Live. What's up, D Live? What's up, Foxhole?
There's Puffin GIFs?
Somebody found one. I might be
That's
Happy
sweet.
Feet, but it might as well be Puffin.
All right.
So hi, Kois. How you doing? Zachary, Lotus. Good to see you guys. Hi, G Morty, Roseanne. Yeah, so exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. So look, I got my Organism shirt, guys.
Oh, guys, it's awesome. Look at that.
Tell me that's not awesome. Seriously? Like, it is the coolest shirt. I'm
They're
really
getting some
quite
Puffin muffin stuffing going on there.
I'm quite proud of myself. Yeah, we may or may not address the Puffin situation tonight. I mean,
Oh, there is definitely a Puffin situation
Yeah.
going on.
perhaps, maybe the commander will think about it. Hello, Neo. Hi, Kay, Tanette, Viking Smith. All right, so let's see. What do we got going on tonight? Whoa. Okay. So, optionally manned tank. Isn't that exciting, guys? We will have tanks
I'm
that
terrified.
that are not
Right.
manned by us. So, yeah, that's great. Four Nation Defense Alliance. We got Voyager Space Station. Aguadilla, not sure how to say it as usual. Aguadilla UFO incident. We'll be going into some of that. The American Airlines UFO incident. Airstrike on Syria and all the other defense-related stuff that kind of comes along with that. We
My
got
black pill of the day.
we got footage. Yeah, right. We got the footage of the space-time crystal, guys. So that's pretty awesome.
Wild.
Yeah.
Right.
Sexist AI, Red Collie. Let me say hello to him. Red Collie's in the house, also known as Dr. Horace Drew. And we'll be playing a
What
video
up?
he did. I was quite impressed and fascinated by.
Oh,
so,
yes. I sent it right to Alien Scientist.
Right?
See
we'll
if we
be
can get you
covering
some help.
Red Collie and his Dragonfly drone propulsion prototype, which I think is amazing. I was amazed
Sweet.
watching that. Yeah. So welcome, Red. Hi, Brad. Good to see you. Oh, and speaking of Brad, so guys, you're going to love this. It's coming. I don't know exactly when, but very soon we're getting a big upgrade here at Space Force News. And I don't want to ruin the surprise, okay? But it's going to be awesome. So pretty soon
Right.
we're going to have Space Force News will have its own intro and its own bumpers for each segment. And
Dun, dun, dun.
I think you will really, really love what the direction it's going. So big shout out to Brad. He is the one that's working on that for me.
Whoop,
And
whoop.
it's going to take a little bit of time. But yes, that is going to be super awesome when it's all done. I'm very excited for that. Very excited.
Great.
And my Organism shirt. This is the coolest shirt ever. Look at this shirt.
Organisms. I know. Look at that.
And it's so comfy. And it's got the little Space Force News logo on there. I just love it.
that.
Yeah, super love it. So yeah, okay. So that's what we'll be covering and a whole lot more. And
Well,
let's
there's
see,
in more.
let me link the super chats. Okay. So thank you to Amy the Butterfly Beacon for her donation. Big thank you to Mixter Fox. I completely missed your super chat on the last
guys.
show. Thank you so much, Mr. Fox. That was definitely not intentional. Chris Hawkins, Above Duality, Fearless, Spirish Malonen, Sarah F., Phil Christophers, White Hat, and Christina Love. Thank you so much for your support, you guys.
We love you guys.
Yes, you guys are awesome. We love our space peeps. Okay, so yeah, with that being said, how's your week been, Foil?
Man, I'm excited. Big things coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I saw your video. It was pretty epic.
Yeah, I had to literally get up out of bed once I put it all together and run right to the computer to thread it out and start making a video.
Yeah, I don't know where you find the time to write threads on Twitter and completely
work 52 jobs and make videos.
I don't know how you do it. You're a machine, Loyal to the Foil. You're a machine.
I was just psyched about Putin riding a bear. I keep telling you, that was my favorite thing.
Yeah,
today.
I didn't think it was that funny, but you guys are gonna like Nature Break today. It's really, really funny. And if I think it's funny, it's usually.
Oh well, then that makes it official.
Yeah, it's usually pretty funny. So, and on that note, let's go ahead and.
Ofefe?
Yeah.
This puffin got some stuffing for your puffin muffin.
You're so good at rhyming.
Yeah, it just kind of happened.
What are you looking at, hon?
I kind of felt a tingle.
I'll go get the laxatives.
It's different. It's like...
This puffin got some stuffing for your puffin muffin.
Oh, I know what you need. You want to see some boobies?
What, like right now?
Sure, why not?
This booty kitty got a cute booty. Let's take it off like we're on a race of beauty. This booty kitty got a cute booty. Let's take it off like we're on a race of beauty. This puffin got some stuffing for your puffin muffin. Just give me the beat now, you puffin freak. This puffin.
Oh wait, there's more.
Got some stuffing for your puffin muffin. Just give me the beat now, you puffin freak. This booty.
Do we play the whole song or what, guys? Just let it
I like
ride.
how it's like 70s retro porn music
It's the greatest
or whatever.
thing. It's the greatest thing ever. This song.
I just think they were just gonna keep asking if we didn't play it, or I was
Okay,
gonna
so-
keep asking if you didn't play it.
Do I gotta play? I'll play the whole thing. Just.
Kitty got a cute booty. Let's take it off like we're on a race of beauty. See boobies like we're in a B
Like you're in a
movie.
movie.
Alright, this booty kitty got a cute booty. Let's take it off like we're on a race of beauty. See boobies like we're in a B movie. Alright, this booty kitty got a cute booty. Let's take it off like we're on a race of beauty. See boobies like we're in a B movie. Alright, this booty kitty got a cute booty. Let's take it off like we're on a race of beauty. See boobies like we're in a B movie.
So do you... should we...
Yeah.
And anybody that wasn't here last episode, if you saw last week, you'd understand why we played that song. Because I have been getting...
Right, if they missed it last week, they're gonna be like, what the hell?
I have been getting peer pressure like you wouldn't believe to play the Puffin Song. I feel completely... Yeah.
Wednesday was great.
Yeah. Wednesday was great. But I couldn't play the Puffin Song, you guys. It was kind of inappropriate.
I know, but it was a determined effort.
Yeah.
On behalf of many. All right.
All right, so I guess we should get into the Space Force news now, shouldn't we, Foil? Do you have your fake news button? Because, you know, that always comes in handy. She didn't bring it. See, guys, how she does me?
I did not.
Doesn't listen to the commander, you know what I mean? She just...
I have authority issues.
She doesn't go live when she's scheduled to go live on various platforms. She just kind of goes live when she feels like it, in case no one's noticed this. Right? Yeah, she does what she wants. That's right. So here we are. So you missed it. You missed it, Lieutenant. We just played the Puffin Song. You know.
Oh, he caught the end of it.
Yeah, back by popular demand.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So let's get into some Space Force news. Here we go. All right. Report broadens conversation on space militarization and Space Force satellite defense. Now more than ever, American warfighters depend on space-based capabilities for their missions. In response, move this over. Yeah. Go ahead and laugh at me, Foil. Cue the laugh.
I'm trying.
Yeah. American warfighters depend on space-based capabilities for their missions. In response, adversaries have developed counter-space weapons meant to degrade or deny those capabilities. Even before the U.S. Space Force was established, the Pentagon pivoted to describing space as a warfighting domain, claiming it reflects a change in the environment led by American adversaries. U.S. officials have laid the blame for the militarization of space squarely at the feet of nations, including China and Russia, that have developed, tested, and fielded various weapons capable of destroying or disabling satellites on orbit. General James Dickinson, head of the U.S. Space Command, said a common question he gets asked is, so why have we militarized space? Well, the answer is we really haven't. Our competitors have. That narrative, which he shared February 26 at the virtual Aerospace Warfare Symposium, was a major part of the messaging put out by Pentagon officials and the Trump administration to justify creating the Space Force. Some, however, question the characterization that the militarization, what is with these itizations, man? They're trying to trip me up. Yeah.
It's all about the zations, man.
This is a setup. Militarization of space is a recent development. Space is not a sanctuary, and really it never was a sanctuary. As soon as we were able to use space for military purposes, nations, including the United States, started developing counter-space weapons, said Todd Harrison, director of the Aerospace Security Project at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Space has been militarized from the beginning. There's no question of that. By nearly every definition, space has already been weaponized, he added. The cat's out of the bag, said Harrison. And while the Space Force doesn't often talk about counter-space weapons publicly, it is developing and fielding its own.
Brad is right. The first space war is going to be completely off the hook.
Right.
I mean, and we have to. We talk about it all the time. It's the ultimate high ground. The fact that the new administration would even suggest that this should be like, that we shouldn't take these preemptive measures is ridiculous, in my humble opinion.
Tell us how you really feel, Foyle.
I know.
Don't hold anything back. The U.S. access to space is a vital national interest. The United States' freedom to maneuver in space is a vital national interest that underpins national security, intelligence efforts, treaty verification, and the economy, Chief of Space Operations General Raymond said. The general talked about the advantages of U.S. presence in space during a fireside chat today at the at the Air Force Association's 2021 Virtual Aerospace Warfare Symposium. There's a significantly growing economy in space between here and the lunar surface, with estimates of over $1 trillion over the next handful of years. It underpins every instrument of national power, Raymond said. The U.S. is concerned with cyber threats that China and Russia are continuing to develop. Raymond noted, it's something that we have to protect against today. That's why the establishment of the U.S. Space Force is so important. We are purposely built to stay ahead of the growth from other countries. If the nation can deter conflict from beginning or extending into space, space can deter conflict from spilling over into other domains, the general added. Space is a huge force multiplier that enables us to do things the other services can do with smaller force structures because they have integrated space to their advantage, he explained. We cannot afford as a nation to lose. We're the best in the world of space. We are running fast. The Guardians are running fast to be able to stay ahead of the threat to deter from a position of strength. The general said the nation can't just launch a satellite and assume it's going to be there forever. We have to be able to protect and defend it. That's the new missionary, he said. That's why the United States made the decision to stand up both the U.S. Space Command, the operational arm, the warfighting arm, and the Space Force, which is the organized training equipment arm. The National Security Strategy and National Defense Strategy outline a very complex strategic environment in space, one that has global challenges, multi-domain challenges, and challenges that move very fast at great speeds and across great distances.
Not just the stuff the government puts up there. I mean, we've got private contractors launching. We've got to be able to protect their stuff too.
Yeah, so this is a longer one. Let's move on to the next one. So
we need space chips.
Right? We have space chips. Although, they never talk about the space chips.
On the space chips is what I mean. Like, they better hurry up with that.
So this is interesting. To defend the high frontier, Space Force wants digitally minded troops, right? The hacker guardians of the Space Force.
I love hacker guardians.
If fighter pilots are the rock stars of the Air Force, it could be said that software coders and app developers are the fighter jocks of the Space Force. Software touches everything we do in the Space Force, said Lieutenant Jackie Smith, who runs a Space Force software boot camp, whose graduates are known as the Sempra Coders. Supra? No, a Supra Coders. Ooh, that's kind of cool. The Supra
Semper Supra?
Yeah, they call them the Supra Coders. That's kind of cool. Smith, an Air Force officer and software specialist who soon will be transferring to the Space Force, said 28 military and civilian personnel graduated from the first boot camp held in January. The 28 were selected from among more than 300 candidates. The program is highly selective, Smith told Space News. She noted that the name Supra Coders is in homage to the service's motto, Semper Supra, or always above. The coding boot camps will become regular events as the Space Force looks to build a cadre of 400 software coders who will be assigned to units around the world that perform duties like space traffic control, satellite operations, and space data analysis. Hey man, if I was a coder, I'd want to go work for the Space Force. Can you imagine? What is it again? I'm a super coder.
Supra.
Yeah, I'm a super coder. That's kind of cool, you know?
Right?
I mean, you probably shouldn't pick your job based on how cool the name sounds, but, you know, still, in any event. All right, Chief of Space Operations General Raymond, in a commander's guidance document released in November, calls for a digitally minded force that uses technology in innovative ways. The Space Force was established in December 2019 as an independent military branch to handle emerging national security threats in orbit, such as anti-satellite weapons. As soon as the Space Force was signed into law, Raymond pushed to have a senior post in his office dedicated to promoting technology and innovation. He selected Major General Kimberly Kreider as the Space Force Chief Technology and Innovation Officer, or CTIO. Kreider previously was the Air Force's Chief Data Officer. Yeah, so that kind of covers that. We really need to do.
I need the Space Force to do something like super exciting.
We have a lot of Space Force news tonight, right?
If they would just like shoot something out of the sky, or like,
yeah, what happened to big things that are going to happen in December? Remember that? Remember when they said that in like November? They were like, yeah, and we were like, yeah, decloak the ships. Well, yeah, we are in February.
One time, who said that they were going to show us something awesome, and then it was a drone show? I was like, guys, don't hype us up.
Still waiting for the ships to decloak.
Right.
Yeah.
Come with something real, or don't come at all.
So call them Guardians, 17 airmen transferred to Space Force at U.S. Air Base in Japan. This is kind of cool. And interestingly enough, 17 airmen at the home of U.S. Forces Japan and Western Tokyo have transitioned into Space Force Guardians, Air Force officials announced this week. Images of the airmen transferring to the new service branch during a February 17th ceremony were posted Tuesday by how do you say that? Yokotoa?
I can't even see.
Yokotoa Air Base. On the photo sharing website Flickr, they show the new Guardians in formation wearing space blue name tapes in front of their projection of the U.S. Space Force's futuristic Delta logo. There's our guys right there. Exciting.
Look at those guys. Right? Super excited.
They joined a service that was founded in late 2019 and charged with missions ranging from monitoring Yokota?
I think so. I'm looking at your screen.
Pronouncing things than I am.
Guys, we love flat Earth peeps. As long as nobody's being combative and everybody's having a good time. I mean, they're allowed to. We doubt many things. We don't trust NASA either.
How did this topic come up? Flat Earth.
Well, I'm watching the chat.
Oh, we have flat Earth friends here.
Now, if people are being combative, that's one thing. Yeah.
Okay, so where was I? They joined a service that was founded in late 2019 and charged with missions ranging from monitoring early warning systems that track potential threats to the U.S. homeland to ensuring the safety of American satellites. To help stand up to a brand new branch of the armed services in history in the making. These airmen, Guardians, get to be a part of it. Sent a message posted. How do you say that name again? Yokota's official Facebook page on Tuesday. Currently, Space Force transfers are only available for certain career fields, but as you might expect, things are moving and changing quickly. So if you're interested, consult with your chain of command. Yokotoa's 374th Airlift Wing did not respond by Wednesday afternoon. Questions posted Tuesday about the new Guardians' duties in the Japanese capital or their units. Eligible career fields include space and space systems operations, intelligence, and cyberspace. Good stuff.
They gotta get some good cyber folk in there with a quickness.
Okay, so on to SpaceX news. Looks like Elon and Bezos are...
give my regards to your puppet master.
Yeah, give my regards to your... He got major points from me when he did that.
I was like, woohoo!
Yeah,
right?
Go Elon.
My guy!
Yeah.
Right?
I was into it. I was cool with it. It was awesome. All right, Elon...
He's got a thing... Him and Bezos have been going back and forth. I mean, like, and it's getting worse now.
It's like...
Even Bill Gates is trying to get in on... Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think even Bill Gates is trying to get on the action.
Right.
Like when Elon was on Joe Rogan not too long ago, he was talking about how Bill had shorted Tesla. He was like, that didn't work out so well for him.
Look,
well, funnily enough,
Bezos looks like an alien. Look at him.
Man,
look at that picture.
like Alien versus Android there.
Right. What is going on? What is happening here?
It's the lizards.
Man,
I don't know.
What is
I
happening
don't
here?
know. Do we have the lizard picture? We should see what the people think of it.
Oh, no, we did. You should have told me that before. I would have queued it
I
up.
just thought of it.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
my
super
goodness.
weird, dude. Did you see
That was wild.
You see everybody tripping on Facebook?
Yeah,
I had
even
to
when they
post that.
tried to post like a more clear picture, his eyes still looked like a lizard.
I know. No matter how many different directions you
Angles
came from, how
or
many
whatever.
ways you zoomed in on
Right.
that, the dude still looked like.
Freaking lizard people everywhere, man.
Right, man. I'm telling you.
I'm telling you.
All right, so let's see. It appears that Elon Musk Jay Bezos feud is still raging. The two tech moguls have recently been flip-flopping for the title of the richest person in the world. Yeah, I wish I had that kind of problem.
I know, right? That's.
Yeah, such problems. Yeah.
I know.
All right. But they also have a years-long feud that began over their competing outer space ambitions. It seems Musk hasn't forgotten. There's some funny things he says in here, actually. The Washington Post, I'm not even gonna try to say that name, published a report on Tuesday about how the demands on Musk's time, including the travel schedule, personal life, and focus on SpaceX, his rocket company, were affecting Tesla, leading to criticism of his management of the business. While reporting the story, which the Post said was based on interviews with a dozen current and former Tesla employees, investors, and analysts, the publication reached out to Musk by email and received a brief response. Give my regards to your puppet master, Musk said.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, Elon. The comment appeared to be a reference to Bezos' ownership of the Post. He bought the paper in 2013 for $250 million in cash. Both Bezos and the Post have repeatedly said he has no influence on editorial decisions, but that hasn't stopped critics from conflating the billionaire tech founder and the nearly 150-year-old publication, the most vocal among them former President Donald J. Trump. As President Trump frequently targeted Bezos and the Post, tweeting that the paper spread fake news and served as Amazon's chief lobbyist. With the latest barb, Musk is adding fuel to a rivalry between Bezos that dates back to at least 2004. Over the past 15 years, Musk has leveled a string of criticisms at Bezos and his rocket company, Blue Origin. He called Bezos a copycat over some of his business ventures, described Amazon as a monopoly, and appeared to make some digs at Bezos' age. At least he didn't call him an alien, you know?
Boomer.
Right?
Like, okay, boomer. Right.
For his... go ahead.
Wait till they get up there and start fighting over who is mining what asteroid.
Or who's putting
like
the biggest statue on the Mars of themselves.
Right. Like that asteroid that's up there that's worth, what was it, like quintillion dollars or whatever the hell. Like, wait till we see people fighting to see what they can get out of there.
Mayberry wants to know if you think Elon has a Neuralink.
Man, Elon is the Neuralink.
No, but his monkey does. I'll tell you that. He's
right.
A couple of monkeys that
Monkey
do.
Pong.
Mm-hmm.
Right. He must, if he was laughing like about saying, the monkeys are happy. Oh, he made a comment. As a matter of fact, he made a comment on Joe Rogan. Joe had asked him about how the Neuralink implant affects, organisms. And he was like, it's so much better, I can tell you. He's got to. He's probably going to test it on himself first, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna sell something, you're gonna pitch it. You
better believe what you sell, right?
Yeah, that's right. You better believe what you sell, for sure. Speaking of, for his part, Bezos has been repeatedly critiqued SpaceX and Musk's goal of sending humans to Mars. Bezos has described the idea as unmotivating. Go live on the top of Mount Everest for a year first and see if you like it. Because it's a garden paradise compared to Mars, Bezos said 2019. Oh, yeah.
Hate.
Right?
Hate. So much hate.
Look at Elon just coming with the insults.
Unmotivating.
He learned from Trump. He's like, I'm just going to be a boss now and just, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So Starlink will hit 300 megabytes and expand to most of Earth this year. Ooh, ooh.
The people that had the beta test were saying that it runs really well.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the inspector's already talking about, we got to get Starlink. We got to get... I'm like, okay, all right, we'll get
Right?
Starlink.
I mean, if I'm gonna give my money to some evil overlord, it's definitely gonna be that guy.
Right?
I'm telling you.
Starlink broadband speeds will double to 300 megabytes later this year. SpaceX CEO Elon Musk wrote on Twitter yesterday, SpaceX has been telling users to expect speeds of 50 megabytes to 150 megabytes since the beta began a few months ago. Musk also wrote that the latency will drop to 20 ms. What does that stand for?
I don't know. What, megabytes a second?
Is that
I don't know. I can't see. I didn't pull the articles up. I'm looking at yours.
This is no surprise that SpaceX promised latency of 20 ms to 40 ms during the beta and had said months ago that we expect to achieve 60 ms to 19 ms by summer 2021. It sounds like the speed and latency improvements will roll out around the same time as when Starlink switches from beta to more widespread availability. 2 weeks ago, Starlink opened pre-orders for service expected to be available in the second half of 2021.
That's ridiculous. Milliseconds. I couldn't see.
Man.
That's all right.
Yeah, I said it, though. That's all right. She doesn't have all the answers.
It's not the same. I have to look at things sometimes to process.
Okay, it sounds like the speed and latency improvements will roll out around the same time as when Starlink switches for... We already did that. 2 weeks ago, Starlink opened pre-orders for service expected to be available in the second... Oh, we already did that. Musk wrote in another tweet yesterday, Starlink will be available to most of Earth by the end of 2021 and the whole planet by next year. But even then, the number of slots available to users would be limited in each geographic region. Musk wrote that densifying coverage is the next step after Starlink is technically available across the planet. Important to note that cellular will always have the advantage in dense urban areas. Satellites are best for low to medium population density areas. That's consistent with Musk's statement last year that Starlink will have limited availability in big cities like Los Angeles because the bandwidth per cell is simply not high enough. And that Starlink will serve the hardest to serve customers that telcos otherwise have trouble doing with landlines or even with cell towers. And the U.S. internet users who must currently rely on DSL or traditional geostationary satellite service would benefit the most from Starlink's low Earth orbit satellites.
He said basically the same thing on Twitter the other day. Somebody asked him if he was going to have service in the San Francisco Bay Area. He was like, "You guys have good internet." He said, "Right now I'm just putting it up here for people in underserved areas."
It's for the country folk, man. It's for the country folk.
Right.
All right.
Give us some reasonable internet speeds.
Elon Musk responds that it would be great if he was investigated for his Dogecoin memes.
Oh, Doge to the moon, please. I'm still holding and buying Doge.
CEO of Tesla and SpaceX Elon Musk responded on his favorite network, Twitter, about an alleged investigation to the different comments about the Dogecoin and the consequences of these, that is, the sudden rise in its price. First Squawk, a person with access to proprietary information regarding finance and economy, revealed that Musk could be investigated by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, according to sources with knowledge of the matter. Another Twitter user made him share the information with the millionaire in a lighter and more funny way. He mocks the SEC for inventing dog memes. In addition, the tweet ends with the words, "Hail Emperor Musk," and an image of Elon with crown and cape. And there you have it. There it is here.
I love it. He just calls them out. Like, I wish you would.
Yeah.
Right?
In response, the millionaire followed the joke line memes? And replied with, "I hope they do. That would be great." Go, Elon.
Of course.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Man. So, in other news, relatively space unveils a reusable 3D printed rocket to compete with SpaceX's Falcon 9.
This is why I feel like they're trying to step on his toes. We're seeing a lot of his tech they're trying to usurp it in other places. We got people coming out with alternatives. Him going back and forth with Bezos. We saw Tesla stock take a hit this week, and Dogecoin, as a matter of fact, oddly enough. I just feel like, we talked about this last week, about NASA trying to go to Mars without him. I feel like they're starting to really kind of hate on our guy.
Give me just a second. I got to do something real quick. Feel free to continue yapping.
We got people come right.
Okay.
What you doing over there?
I'm pulling up the Foxhole chat so I can jump over there and say hello once in a while and see
Foxhole
what they're doing.
Fam?
Yeah.
Right.
Hi, Foxhole. I mean,
yeah, I do think they're trying to push him. They're trying to find a way to go around him. You know what I mean? I really do. And I think it's spiteful.
3D printing rocket builder Relativity Space is working on Terran R, a fully reusable launch vehicle that would be near the capabilities of SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. Terran R is really an obvious evolution from the company's Terran 1 rocket. Relativity CEO Tim Ellis told CNBC, the later of which is scheduled to launch for the first time later this year. I've always been a huge fan of reusability, no matter how you look at it. Making a reusable rocket has got to be part of the future, Ellis added.
I love that they can 3D print almost anything now.
Relativity Space's 3D printing rocket builder is making another big bet, developing a fully reusable rocket designed to match the power and capability of SpaceX's workhorse Falcon 9 rockets. Called Terran R, the reusable rocket is a really an obvious evolution from the company's Terran 1 rocket. The latter of which Relativity expects to launch for the first time later in 2021. It's the same architecture, the same propellant, the same factory, the same 3D printers, the same avionics, and the same team, Ellis said. I've always been a huge fan of reusability, no matter how you look at it, even with 3D printing and dropping the cost and increasing the automation of a launch vehicle, making it reusable, has got to be part of the future, Ellis added. Terran R is the first of several new initiatives that Ellis expects Relativity to unveil in the year ahead, with the company having raised more than $680 million since its founding 5 years ago. Just like Terran 1, Relativity will build Terran R with more than 90% of the parts through additive manufacturing, utilizing the world's largest 3D printers as what Ellis calls the factory of the future. Relativity, valued at $2.3 billion, ranks as one of the most valuable private space companies in the world. Its investors include Tiger Global Management, Fidelity, Bally Gifford, Mark Cuban, and more.
Mark Cuban.
That's that like a little virtual reality deal of their factory right here. It doesn't look like a real video footage to me. It looks like it's virtual reality, which, you know.
I think that's probably real. I don't know.
Okay, so moving on to...
Oh, are we at the Black Pill part of the show?
We are at Defense, the Black Pill part of the show. Yes, we are.
Woohoo! Right.
U.S. launches airstrike against Iranian-backed forces in Syria.
All right, if you guys caught my video earlier, you heard a lot of this stuff already. I'm just going to kind of give you the tidbits. So the minute Biden got into office, and I mean, as of January 22nd, we started getting reports that there were U.S. military convoys going back into Syria after Trump had pulled our people out of there. If you remember, the establishment was having a royal fit over this. Well, of course, his very first military action is to launch strikes on Iranian-backed forces in Syria. Now, remember when Trump bombed Soleimani, he was big mad, okay? But he was real quick to use this as an excuse to back up his own ambitions. And if you want to hear more about that, go check out my vid. It is tied to Ukraine, of all things, which is freaking crazy. But nevertheless... So what had happened was the Iranians have been lobbing missiles at our people in Iraq, in the Green Zone in Baghdad, and other of our allies and interests for a minute now. So the other day, Biden decided it would be a good idea to go ahead, and he dropped, 7 500-pound bombs on an outpost that is literally like right on the border of Iraq and Syria. And he claimed that there were, Iranian-funded and Iranian-led militant groups operating there, which there probably were. But he went ahead and bombed them. And it's kind of funny because if you remember, just the other day, Congress was at him like, hey, listen, there were like 36 Democrat people in Congress that were like, we need you to kind of share the nuclear codes with us, or at least the launch authority. Like, you need to be able to consult with somebody before you launch anything. They did the same thing to Trump. I was thinking at first it was a Pelosi power play. After I saw this, I was like, they knew he was about to do something ridiculous.
And yes, right? Viper 1700, I completely agree about the bases on the moon and Mars. Just thought I'd know that.
Yeah, I know, right? Mm-hmm. There are things there. But yeah, so I mean, he decided to go ahead and launch after he had cried about Trump launching on Soleimani, which is kind of funny. And he got caught up. I mean, he was getting torn apart on social media by Democrats and Republicans alike for, violating the sovereignty of, another nation. Whatever you think about Assad, I mean, the guy is an ass, but I'm saying, like, whatever you think, he's the one that's in charge there. If we're not talking about Putin, who's really the one that's in charge there. Pull up the next article.
This whole thing is a clown show right now, dude.
It truly
like,
is.
For real. Like, it's a complete clown show.
We are seeing a lot of proxy conflicts, just like we did during the Cold War after World War II, where you've got superpower nations moving their little pieces. I mean, it's, give my regards to your puppet master kind of thing. So Russia was pissed when Biden did this. And mind you, Russia has a permanent military presence in Syria. They've been in there since 2015. Assad asked them in to help with the civil war, the rebels that were there, that of course were funded by Obama. So naturally, when Biden goes and bombs Syria, I mean, he gave Russia like a moment's notice. After the strike was already underway, he calls them up like, oh, by the way, hope you don't have no people down there because this is what's happening, right? It was crazy. Russia said, we strongly condemn such actions and call for Syria's sovereignty and territorial integrity to be unconditionally respected. They went on to say, now, if somebody struck a blow on U.S. territory, what would that look like? I mean, yeah, imagine if somebody launched it, I don't know, whatever, Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And it's not technically an American state. It is a, territorial province or whatever. I mean, people would be furious. You can't do that. And I mean, it was so nice and peaceful. Trump was trying to draw down the troops.
Yeah.
He was trying to make peace in the Middle East. Pull up the next article.
The war machine is already going strong.
Yeah,
Here we go.
real quick. I mean, it's been a month.
Right.
And this dude is at it already. Like, I mean, we knew that's what was going to happen.
Unraveling everything that Trump accomplished. It's just... We
knew that was going to happen. And you notice Kamala's been making all these calls to foreign dignitaries while Mario Kart Joe is chilling, right? They're gonna pull him out of there at some point. But the question is, what is he going to do prior to that? And is she going to be any better? Probably not. These people are dependent on war. They only make money when there is war. They make money on the war. They make money on selling the armaments for the war. They make money on rebuilding after the war. And they make money with their banks loaning for every other thing.
Yeah, and we're on to the scam now. I remember when there was a time when I can speak for myself, and I'm sure others out there, when I wasn't hip to the whole war game thing. And now that I'm completely hip to it, it's just, this has to stop on our planet.
It's wild.
It's all it is profiteering. That's all it is. At the expense of people's lives. It's terrible. Like, this has to...
I mean, if you're going to be spending money on stuff, you'd think you could help us out. Why are you're giving money away, to the same countries that you're freaking shellacking whenever you feel like it. It's not a good model. I mean, for the average person. For the predator elites, they love it, of course. But something else Joe Biden did was he didn't call Israel. He was the first U.S. president to get into office and not almost immediately call Israel. It was like a month and a half before he even gave him a phone call. So naturally, they're feeling some kind of way. Mm-hmm. And thank God Trump had gotten some semblance of a peace accord in place, because Israel was able to give a ring to Saudi Arabia, UAE, and Bahrain, and try to make it like a mutual defense pact with those guys, which is great. That's what they should be doing. We shouldn't be running in there every time there's a problem.
Amy, the Butterfly Beacon, says, let's stop funding their endless wars and nefarious agendas, right?
Yes. I mean, this should have been done, Like, I mean, Trump was trying to at least... pull back a little bit. I mean, he swatted flies when he had to, like Soleimani, but he wasn't just like, I mean, this sits different for me, because with Trump, he was a new guy, not a lot of political background. Everything Biden is doing is to further an agenda that they had set in place years ago. And it's not like we don't know what it is. It's not like we don't know where they were going for it. Like I said, the problem in Syria and the argument with Russia is based on natural gas pipelines, and who is controlling gas that's running through Ukraine. Big guy wants his cut.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. So back to the article, Israel, because of the Abraham Accords, and this is unprecedented. I mean, Israel would, thanks, above duality. He says, "Give me the beak, no boobies."
Oh, man.
Right? Israel
Thank you, Lieutenant.
was pariah in the Middle East, and now they're able to make a four-nation defense alliance with other countries over there. This is fantastic. It's fantastic. Pull up the next article.
Yes,
now, what's
ma'am.
kind of crazy about that?
I love it when you order me around, Foil.
Right?
Yeah. All right.
So what's crazy about that is, now you saw one of the nations that Israel is making this defense alliance with is Saudi Arabia. And it's awfully freaking funny that Biden decides to declassify this report on MBS and Jamal Khashoggi, not like we didn't know. We totally knew that he was responsible for killing the guy. But when you say it in public on the world stage, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Now it's official, right? And he didn't sanction MBS, but he sanctioned 76 other dudes and put visa restrictions and everything else on people from Saudi Arabia. So he didn't call Israel. He's pushing buttons over here. Also with Saudi Arabia, he had canceled some weapons deals and took the Houthi rebels that they are fighting in Yemen and that have been attacking them, which in fact yesterday launched a missile on their capital city. Biden took them off the terror list. So if you really start to watch what's playing out in all of these little areas,
and our borders are getting flooded. I mean, absolutely flooded. And this isn't just coming from the news. Like, there's... Oh, did you tell them about the Iranians that were arrested on the border of Mexico in Yuma?
I mean,
it's in your video.
Okay, it's in the video. So, yeah, earlier this month, let me backtrack. In December, we found out that Iran was sending armaments and troops to Venezuela. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Venezuela has ties with Russia and China. Obviously, all of these nations, they're highly sanctioned by the Western world, so they kind of team up. They work together so that they can get what they need. We find out in December that Venezuela is sending troops and arms to Venezuela, that Iran is sending it to Venezuela. Well, earlier in February, they happened to catch in Yuma, Arizona, 11 Iranian nationals trying to sneak across the U.S.-Mexican borders. There were maybe 3 or 4 news outlets that covered it. I mean, I couldn't find it in very many places. When I saw it, I was like, what the hell? Now, I don't know what those guys were doing, but how many other guys did not get caught was my primary question. Right? I mean, it's wild. And you can see how all of these things tie together. And like I said, if you really do your due diligence, you can see where a lot of this tracks back to Ukraine.
Yep. Wah, wah, wah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that is my black pill for the day.
And that concludes the defense...
Gloom and Doom section of the show.
The defense segment of the show. So now...
Go watch my video.
For your regular... Okay, hold on. Parental advisory explicit lyrics right now. Okay? There is some F-bombs here, okay? There is some F-bombs, so I'm warning you ahead of time. So now for our regularly scheduled nature break. If the commander can find the nature break.
Uh-oh. That's so funny, too.
Hold on. I got it. All right, I gotta make it big. Okay, here we go. This is happening.
This is happening.
This is the greatest thing ever. Hold on. Ready?
Yeah.
You been a naughty boy today, Eric? Eric, have you been No. Have you been a naughty boy today? You're not a fucking legend at all. Did you bash up the dog? No, you're not a fucking legend. Did you scare the cat? Did you scare the cat? Lester, don't laugh at him. He's not funny. Eric, look at me. Look at me, look at me, look at me. You're not a fucking legend at all. You're a naughty, 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 naughty boy. You're not. Lester, don't laugh at him. You're naughty. Naughty, naughty, naughty.
Man.
No, he doesn't want to kiss a legend because you're not a legend. He doesn't want to kiss a legend.
Okay, you know what I have to say about this, though? It's funnier the second time you watch it. Hold on. It's actually funnier. Ready? We got to do it again. I'm sorry. It's too funny.
You been a naughty boy today, Eric? Eric, have you been a... No. Have you been a naughty boy today? You're not a fucking legend at all. Did you bash up the dog? No, you're not a fucking legend. Did you scare the cat? Did you scare the cat? Lester, don't laugh at him. He's not funny. Eric, look at me.
Lester, don't laugh
Look at me, look at me, look at me. You're not a fucking legend at all. You're a naughty boy.
He's a legend now.
You're not.
Right.
You're a legend on Space Force.
You're not. Lester, don't laugh at him. You're naughty. Naughty. No, he doesn't want to kiss a legend because you're not a legend.
Oh, that's so good.
Oh my god.
Man.
That's great.
Right?
My face hurts. That's so funny.
Oh, that's good. Man, the things humans teach their birds, right?
That's great.
What's that Bible?
We got to get Sam the Raven on the show. I like Sam the Raven too.
Right.
He's ignorant.
My lovebirds outside have built a nest, by the way.
Aw.
They've moved in and they do flybys on me and everything when I go outside. Yeah, they're
Your birdie buddies.
Yeah, they're part of the family now. Yeah, they're my friends. So, okay, moving on to science. Here we are.
Woohoo.
We're not going to watch The Legend again, I promise, guys.
I love the legend.
I know.
He's a legend.
I love The Legend.
Right.
Too. Okay.
Who just fearless says my life is complete.
Right?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
She sent me that and I was
right.
like, that is so good.
I know. I love
Okay.
it.
Company plans to start building private Voyager space station with artificial gravity in 2025, guys.
This is actually pretty sweet. I mean, space tourism is completely a thing at the moment, or it's going to be a thing, rather. So Orbital Assembly Corporation has released details about what they're calling Voyager Station, which is, as you can see, if you scroll down, there's a second video at the bottom.
We're going to play this?
Well, it's the second one. The first one's like an hour and something long, but
Okay.
it'll show the assembly of it. But in any case, this is supposed to have it's supposed to allow for habitation for 400 people. They're going to have everything from like movie theaters to, day spas. Apparently SpaceX may be doing the transport back and forth. At least that's what they were discussing in that first video. That's like an hour and a half long. And, they're hoping to keep the prices fairly reasonable. I'm sure they mean like $200,000, $300,000 a person. So I don't know if we're going to go, but
yeah.
Right. Yeah, but they're going to use the spinning ring to create artificial gravity. It's supposed to have gravity similar to that on the moon, which
I love how they've been
will
telling
allow
us
for-
about this in movies like forever.
I know, right?
This is just the slow rollout for us.
Yeah, I mean, apparently they'll be able to have flushing toilets and running showers with moon equivalent gravity, which is nice. But it's basically a space hotel. They're gonna have a casino up there and all kinds of ruckus, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, spaceships will be all up there.
Yeah, they'll be like
watching
cruising
the
around.
Lunar Highway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it's gonna be
What the hell, you guys? I wonder if they'll be the ones like taking you. Where they take people if they arrest them up there? If the chips will take them.
Moon prison. Didn't you hear?
Right?
Didn't you hear about duality?
Hey,
They
I've
all go to
been
moon
talking
prison.
about the moon prisons.
Yeah.
I'm all in favor of moon prisons.
Wonder when they're
Right.
gonna tell us about moon prison.
That's pretty sweet, though. They actually, the same company, I swear, they have two other projects. One is called the Gateway, and then the other one is supposed to be a similar ring, but it's going to be like twice the size. And they'll be able to use this as like a launch point instead of they'll be able to bring things up to hold there that they can then ship off to Mars or wherever the hell else they're going without having to constantly be pushing stuff up through Earth's gravity.
Elysium, here we come, right?
Right, pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
Ancient Tree tells chaotic tale of Earth's magnetic field reversal.
Yeah, this is kind of interesting. I think, one of my theories is that a lot of what we're seeing is probably due to a coming pole reversal. But what they did is they found this 42,000-year-old tree that was fossilized. But of course,
1 second, I just want to tell Desert Flower. Yeah, I heard you guys talking out there about Fable the Raven. I like Fable the Raven too. Have you seen Fable the Raven?
I am not familiar with Fable the Raven.
Oh, I gotta send you a link.
Only
you gotta
Sam
check
the
out
Raven. Yes, please do.
I mean, you gotta show me Sam, and I'll show you Fable. How about that?
Right.
Yeah.
We can do that. We'll exchange ravens. It'll
There
be
you go.
great.
Yeah.
So they found this tree. It was fossilized, and naturally, you guys know dendrochronology. They can use the rings in the tree to tell things about the climate and the, you know, the environment at the time that the tree was living. So in any case, they were able to go back and see that, I mean, this tree was alive at the time of the last reversal, the Lechamps reversal, I think was like 40,000 years ago. Well, I guess it wasn't technically a reversal. It was an excursion. It was like a temporary flip, and then it flipped itself back. But it gave us some ideas as to what was going on with the climate at the time. And apparently, we are seeing some similarities then as to what is going on now. And you know, the funny thing is, there were no humans making this happen.
Right.
That whole climate change just did it on its own.
Right.
Didn't need no help from us. Imagine that. I'm just saying.
Solar cycles, man. Solar cycles,
Man,
not
I
cow
know, right?
farts. Yeah, not.
Yeah,
so,
definitely not the cow farts.
You know who does incredible work on that topic is Tony Heller. So shout out to Tony Heller. He does. Have you ever watched Tony Heller?
I don't know.
Coil?
I feel like I have,
He's-
or maybe you sent me something.
He's
and
a
no, I'm
legend.
not. Is he a legend?
Yeah.
You're not a legend.
I wanted to say the F word, but yeah. I let the birds say it, but I won't say it, guys. It's not. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
That's all right, Alara.
Yeah.
You don't have to say the F-bomb on air. I do, but not here.
Right. I feel really weird saying it. I don't know. It's like I don't know. I do
Like a
say
thing.
I type it
It's
once
okay.
in a while, but I like to put the expletives in there. You know, the little, because then it's somehow less. What's the word?
You think it makes it less offensive?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know. It's like a energetic
Somehow
thing to me.
asterisks take
Yeah.
away. Well, you know, I mean, you said you think words are magic. I get
Yes,
that.
I do. Absolutely. Okay, so space-time crystal footage.
Oh, snap. Right? We've talked about the space-time crystals themselves on the show before. I mean,
We are
basically,
the biggest geeks, Foil. You realize that, right? But I'm cool
mean,
with
what-
it. Yeah,
yeah, what else are we supposed to be doing? Please tell me.
Look at my
what else
shirt,
are we supposed
Foil.
to be doing?
Look at my shirt.
Right?
And when you're
I'm with
into
it.
being a geek,
Dude,
when you're like proud
got
of the fact that you're a geek, that's even
A dude punching an alien on my shirt. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm nerded all the way out with you.
Yeah.
Okay? I accept you just the way you are.
be as nerdy
I
as you
think
want
our-
to be, guys.
Right? I
Yeah.
think our space peeps are okay with it too.
Yeah, they're nerdy too. They're awesome.
So, space-time crystals.
All
So
right,
I know
playing the video.
this-
Are we doing this? Let's do it.
right? Yeah, go ahead,
Okay.
play it, show them.
Okay. And then you want to lecture? You want to lecture before? How would you like to do this?
Is that what I'm doing? Am I lecturing?
No, I'm just, just giving you grief. Well, that's my job.
Give my little spiel,
yeah,
right?
I'm your
I'm
wingman. That's
teasing
my
you.
job. Okay.
Wing.
So, wing, not schwing.
Swing.
Look at this.
It's kind of neat.
Right? Well, that was
I know
short.
they're
that was
probably
short-lived.
right? No,
Yeah.
it was only like, I don't know, 12 seconds, I think.
Okay. Hit it.
So yeah, regular crystals have like a repeatable lattice structure that is just, it exists in space, right? Space-time crystals have a lattice structure that repeats a regular pattern in time. That's what you were seeing there. Play the video again so they can see.
Yes, ma'am.
It's almost like it's in flux between these two patterns, but it's like clockwork, right?
Whoa, I gotta let them see it, huh?
Yeah, that'd be. You like that? I mean, it's like the thing is in flux, right? But it's at a regular interval, and the lattice structure is known, and it's just crazy because I mean they've been this was like a hypothetical thing forever. I mean, we even saw it in like freaking Star Trek.
Yeah.
Right? On the Klingon homeworld, they had to go get the time crystals or whatever, but they were able to actually create one in a lab. I think it was like 2016. Well, this is the first time they've been able to catch it in action, where we could actually see it. But I'm interested to see where they go with it.
Yeah, so am I. I got my ideas on where I think they're going with it, but which I've shared before. But yeah, I'm very interested to see where they go with it. Okay, so lab-grown mini brains suggest one mutation might have rewired the human mind.
Broken Staff Sergeant, yes, I am. I'm looking for more information, and I was thinking we would bring that up next show. He had, I'll just tell you, he had sent me some stuff about them forcing military bases, insisting that the troops may not be able to come or go for leave unless they have their vaccinations up to date. If anybody has any, soldiers are kind of like prisoners. You don't have a whole lot to say with what's going on. But if anybody else has additional information on the subject, please feel free to send it to me. loyaltothefoil@protonmail.com is my secure email. It should be listed somewhere below. But yeah, I'd like to tie it together and maybe do a segment on that for sure. So where are we at? The mini brains?
Mini brains. More mini brains.
Now, I routinely flip out about DARPA growing these mini brains. I don't know if you guys have caught this. We've talked about it a couple times. So they grow these things out of human brain stem cells that grow into these things, Christina Love, that grow into these little mini brains that they call organoids. Now, it's crazy because about a year ago, an article had come out about how DARPA had figured out that these little mini brains were grown, and then they started to actually send signals between each other, right? Well, now they've gone a freaking step further. They actually were able to extract DNA from fossilized remains from Neanderthal and the Denisovans, right? The proto-humans, basically. They took the DNA, they injected it into the freaking mini brains to see what would happen, to see how that would, to see how that would affect the development of these freaking little mini brains, right? And what's crazy is in the article, and let me find the quote, because I was like, what the hell is wrong with these people? In the article, they say, where to go? I know what they said in any case. They say that these organoids don't experience consciousness in the same way we do. So what you're saying is they do experience some form of consciousness, right? And now you're going to give them what? Some genetic material from proto-humans to see how they like being stuck in a freaking mini brain? I don't know what the hell is wrong with these people.
That's terrible. Thank you, Suiterbug, for your super chat.
Yes,
appreciate it.
So good to see you. We missed you.
Horrible.
Isn't it? No, I'm not.
Why don't we have a set of ethics that we go by in science?
They are supposed to.
Okay, but why don't we follow it? Why don't we have one and then follow it? Because they just do it in black projects.
A lot of laws and don't give a.
And they just do it. They just do it in black projects. That's why this stuff.
On this at all.
Coming to light is so important, because until it does, they're going to be doing all kinds of twisted, wild, crazy, terrible in black projects.
Bruh, we know that the stuff we hear about with space tech is old hat. If this is what we're hearing about, can you imagine what they've really done? I mean, it's and how do they know? Okay, so these little organoids are made out of human brain tissue. Remember we talked 2-3 weeks ago about them putting human brain cells into computer chips to increase the processing power? This was maybe 3 weeks ago we covered this. Okay, these things, how do you know that they're not exhibiting some sort of fear response, even a primitive fear response? And now you're going to give them, I don't know, genetic material from freaking proto-humans to see what? Are you trying to instigate actual consciousness so that you can see how that developed? What are you guys really trying to do? It's evil.
Quit being evil.
Yes, just humanity. Don't be evil. Remember when Google, wasn't that Google used to tell people don't be evil before they change their damn mind?
Yeah, don't be evil.
It's wild.
Tired of all the evil. It's terrible.
This is all because CRISPR gave them access to all this genetic snip and clip and insert this here and do this here that. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
You should. Right. Definitely. Okay, so NASA leaves hidden message on parachute of Mars rover.
It's kind of funny that Red is here because instantly thought of him when I saw the landing and I saw the pattern on the parachute. But you can push play. I think it's right there.
We got a UFO. We got a
Hey
UFO.
there, we're
Well,
Brooklyn.
hold on.
We're working.
Oh, now we got ads, of course.
We,
Go ahead.
We got a UFO picture on allegedly coming from the rover too.
Oh,
that we're gonna
awesome.
show you guys in a bit.
Oh yeah, that's right. I sent it to you.
That's wild. Yeah, you
I always
sure
forget,
did,
like
Flo. Oh,
right?
okay.
That I send you all these things.
it?
Take a lot of
Is that it?
pictures. My family hates it when I do that because I must take hundreds of them, and they eventually have to be
I
whittled
think
down
that's
to
it.
a respectable number to
Oh,
show
no.
to
Scroll
family
down.
and friends. But I'd be right at home.
My apologies.
Yeah.
So
Escape.
when it was, in any case, when the rover was landing, the
I got
parachute.
The Puffin Song stuck in my head. This is
Right.
terrible. Okay. Where's the oh, we're down
There's
here?
a tweet right there.
It's the
yeah.
tweet. Well, I'm playing the tweet.
No, you don't have to play the tweet. Just you
show
can
them
see the
tweet?
pattern on the parachute. It reminded me of the binary code in the crop circles, and I actually thought of red. And I wondered if he had decoded it. Well, somebody did it within, like, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours of catching this from the video, and they had put "Dare Mighty Things," like a little secret message in the parachute to see if anybody would catch it. I just thought that was cool.
He cracked it. Well, what did it say?
Dare mighty things.
Dare mighty thing.
hmm
I mean,
would you think they were going to put the aliens are here in binary code on the parachute so we don't know?
you
I mean, that'd been freaking helpful, right?
right?
Dare mighty things. Hey.
The key to Cappy's files. I don't know. Something interesting, right? Okay, so yeah. On that note, let's see. We got sexist AI is even more sexist than we thought.
Oh, remember the whole robots are racist controversy about 2 years ago, where they're slowly finding out that as they're programming as they're programming these AI, the bias that the human that's doing the programming holds is allegedly being transferred and manifesting as bias within the program itself. So if you got a racist person programming AI, I think the problem at the time was that the AI robots were not able to. I'll just make it polite. They really didn't have very good processing when it came to African Americans or minorities, because it was programmed primarily by white people. So
Right.
it had problems identifying and making composite images and whatever else. So they were all mad the robots are racist. Well, now turns out the robots are sexist too. I mean, who'd have thought, right? For like 20 years, they've been documenting subconscious bias that people harbor by having them take this really simple test. You show them a bunch of images, you have them really quick, push a button, like, good or bad. And then they use that as like an implicit bias test for sexism, racism, whatever. You look at, like we were talking last week about people with the messed up faces, and they were trying to see what it activated in the brain. Well, they also wanted to see the bias with that. So you pick, is that a good face, a bad face? Same thing here. Well, apparently, as they were programming this AI, they somehow transferred the bias that women are supposed to be doing like mundane things, like, if it would show a picture of a woman, whatever, I don't know, cooking, that's good. But if it shows a picture of a woman, I don't know, piloting a ship, then that's a problem. So they figured out the robots are not just racist, they're sexist now too, which was kind of wild. In 8 out of 15 tests, the models displayed social biases in similar ways to those that the scientists have been documenting in humans for decades using that implicit bias test. Ryan Steed from Carnegie Mellon determined.
Man.
So that's
Man.
going to go over
What
well
happened
when
to
the AI rises up.
Oh, this must be it here. I was thinking, what happened to the article about the unmanned tanks? Here we
The
go.
freaking tank?
Should we
Yeah,
play the
here we
video?
go. I don't know what's in there. I didn't watch it. I only read the article.
All right. Well, let's just cover the article then.
Right. Oh, the video about, it said, well, I don't know.
We don't
what's
need
in
to
it.
see it. There's,
Right.
Yeah.
We have UFO videos. In any
That's
case,
right.
so north of Grumman. Now, we've talked about the autonomous AI programs that they've been putting into our weapon systems recently. We talked about the R2-D2 drone on the fighter jet and all that stuff. So now they're going to have a tank. It can be manned, but it doesn't have to be manned. And apparently it's going to fire lasers. It will have it can operate as a drone.
Well, as long as it fires lasers,
Yeah, I mean, right. I was sold right there.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it can operate as a drone while also controlling other drones. You know, I mean,
Oh no.
it's good if they're doing all of this because they're looking at a time when, like, maybe we don't have the number of people to run the military, so we have to be able to work with a smaller number of people, or maybe we're outmanned by China, who has a bigger military, so we have to be able to, you know, make headway with less people by having better equipment. And so naturally, I mean, they want to find a way to not have to put people in harm's way with this. And so they've got this optionally manned tank, which is supposed to, you know, propel the army into this generation of what they're calling combined arms warfare.
Drone swarms.
They're thinking 2023, it should be up and running. I mean, as long as it has lasers, I'm okay with it. You know, when the robot rebellion comes,
everything's better with lasers.
at least I can be happy knowing that I'll probably be taken out by a tank with lasers.
Right.
You know, so I'm all right with that.
Yep, lasers complete me. Okay, so on to UFOs. I don't even know if I should say the word UAP. I have a prejudice against the word UAP. But
I told you why I think they do that. Aerial phenomena could be an interdimensional thing, or it could be a physical object. You know, I mean, maybe we've got an ephemeral option and a very physical option.
Oh, it's hinting at the multidimensional nature of these objects.
That's my personal theory, yes.
And consciousness, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so for video one, looks like this comes from Ryan Bledos on Twitter.
Bledsoe?
So yeah, Bledsoe. Is that what?
I can't see it. I think that's right. I remember it that way.
Yeah. Dad took a video of a huge orb light beneath the clouds, not a satellite, not a star, not moving like a plane. Let's check this guy out. His UFO video.
I am filming an amazing orb, and it's cloudy just over the trees across the pond as we speak. Thank you.
He's into it.
Thank you.
This dude sounds like he's blazed and from the country. Therefore, I trust him. I implicitly trust him.
All right, there you have it. Okay.
Wait, is that all it did?
Yeah, it's not one of the more exciting ones, but I just I still thought it was interesting. No, it doesn't. It doesn't really do anything.
I mean, that is doing stuff, but I thought it was
okay. So this was tweeted by UFO AC Research Group at Politolog, POLITIOLOG. Photo taken from the official NASA website. Photo of the rover. Sources captured an object in the air. The photo has not
this
been
is the one
commented
from Mars.
on.
Yes, this
in
is
the
wild.
archive photographer of the rover since February 22nd, 2021. So yeah, so we got a UFO allegedly on the rover photos. Look at this. Curiosity captured this image with its front hazard avoidance camera. 2021.
Can they show them where it's like? Can you show them where it's at? They might not be able to see it. It looks kind of small.
Yeah, it's right here. The UFO's right here. So there's one more picture. Let me show you guys.
I think it's bigger in the other one, isn't it?
Possibly. Let's see. And here it is in this one.
Oh, no.
The UFO's right here.
I mean, what else could that be?
I mean, I thought it was notable. Nothing's supposed to be flying in the air on Mars, allegedly. Right. So
except for our little drone helicopter, which wasn't even there yet.
That's highly suspect, whatever that is that's there in the air. So, yeah, I just thought I'd show you guys that. Okay, and we don't have too many UFOs tonight because we're going to show you Red's video, which I think is fascinating. Oh, we have one more video before we get to...
Oh, this is the one from today. This one is actually pretty exciting.
Yeah, this one's pretty crazy, actually. I don't know what's going on here.
I thought for sure. I was like, oh, that's, meteor debris burning up, and then...
Oh, I should show them, huh?
Yeah, they'd probably love to watch it.
Let's take us off the screen.
Yeah, when it stopped and started driving, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, this is kind of... I don't know what's going on here. Maybe Red's got an idea.
they take that perfect triangle formation, but when they're first coming into the atmosphere, it looks like, you know, orbital debris burning up upon entry, and then they
Right.
just stop.
Let's replay that.
Play it one more
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah, it does. And then all of a sudden, it just completely flips the script.
Yeah, like, whoop. I think I'll stop here, right? It's crazy. And then the third one just kind of phases in. You see that?
Yeah.
Down in the bottom left.
This one here. Okay, so yeah. So let's see. Let's check out Red's video. We need to get...
This is really impressive, Red.
Yeah, we need to get him some funding, like, for real. Check this out, guys. Look what he did. Okay.
We've talked about the Dragonfly drones on the show before. I was talking about how they had the Carat, C-A-R-A-T, the self-activating software allegedly written on them, the same symbols that are on my Alienware computer.
The video which you're about to watch here describes how a Dragonfly UFO works by means of a rotating magnetic field and three-phase power. Would you like to learn more about this? If so, then please watch the video and share it with your friends, and we can build this right now and go to the stars.
So this video is really long, so we can't really play the whole thing, but I'm gonna have to skip ahead at a few different parts. But
yeah,
so this is the original. This is the Dragonfly drone that you guys aren't familiar with. This happened. I don't know what year did this happen.
No,
Red?
they've seen that picture. Because we talked about, see the characters on the bottom of it.
Yeah, we talked about that, right, with the carrot and how it says that on the Alienware laptop. It has the same sort of writing.
Yeah.
So he does these experiments.
Today we will very ambitiously study how the famous Dragonfly drone UFO works. And this has been photographed all around the world. The advantage of studying this device is we can see the inner workings of it, whereas for a normal UFO you don't know what's inside, like looking at a car going by and not knowing there's a gasoline piston engine. Now, we have a crop picture which tells us how it works from 2009, and you can see the spikes at the edge of the UFO here pretty well match the spikes at the crop picture. It shows like a UFO shape on the ground rising up these steps and going into the air, and the loops at the center of the UFO match all those loops that go around the outside of the crop picture. And there's something about the right-hand rule, two fields crossing at a right-handed angle, and using north and south alternating magnetism, we get two flows of ions swirling out the bottom to give thrust. There's the UFO, two fields crossing through this little device, north-south, ions give thrust, and it goes up in the air, step, 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 step. Now, at first it looks incomprehensible how this works. But if you imagine that each of these is an electromagnet, there are 9 of them, these big plates, and each of these is a current loop, and the others think stuff's just for balance, like a cat holding out its tail. It makes a lot of sense. This part here might be like the carburetor fuel injection to ionize the air. The conductive air comes in here and reacts with magnetic fields and current, and makes invisible thrust coming out the bottom, just like sort of like a jet engine, but an electromagnetic jet engine. This is called in general magnetoplasma dynamics. And I'm going to talk about three-phase magnetoplasma dynamics here. We have magnets like that in plates, magnetic field going one way, and that's like these plates. Current going across the other way between the plus and minus, that's like these loops, but they go at 90-degree angles. And thrust goes out the bottom to what's called the Lorentz force, as you'll see. The current has to be 90 degrees to the magnetic field.
Show some of these
right, so yeah,
experiments.
we're gonna have to scoot a little bit ahead because this is such a long video, you guys. But he goes on to, if you were paying attention to some of the stuff he said, he goes on to test this stuff. in this video. You'll
as
have to
evidenced
check
by
out
the
the
motion
long version.
of a die. Let's try some little bigger aluminium plates, see what happens. Here we can see the same effect with slightly larger aluminium plates.
He starts doing the test with
50
the
or
plates.
70 volts. You can see the current is just pouring out quickly. Current's always 90 degrees to the field. What if we could do it three-phase though, and have a whole ring of pistons, just like the 8 or 9 pistons you might have in a car. Typically 8 for a car. The UFO seems to use 9. If we come over here, we can see 9 electromagnets around the outside of the Dragonfly. You see quite an outflow of current from the tops of these devices, just pouring out.
Where he gets it going right here. Oh, here we go.
Shooting out there. I made a little set of normal electromagnets using this ring, wired in 3-phase power, and I've got them as red, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow. Let's turn on the power and just see how 3-phase power works to start with. Now when we add some power to these 9 electromagnets which are standing on their side that resemble the lower 9 magnets UVW, UVW, UVW of a Dragonfly drone UFO, except we have them labeled yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, blue. We'll turn on just 1 hertz of power, 1 time per second AC, and that makes this little magnetic test rotor rotate around in a clockwise fashion.
How cool is that?
So clearly we're generating a rotating magnetic field.
And watch, he gives it more power and it goes faster.
9 electromagnets on the stator, 2 permanent magnets on the rotor, both pointing in the same direction, north-north. Let's go up now to 2 hertz, twice as fast, and see if it spins twice as fast. So now we're going
got this
at
from
2
a
hertz,
freaking crop circle, dude.
Yeah,
and
that's
indeed,
wild.
we see the rotor spins 2
Look at
times
that.
per
It's
second.
going faster now.
Or exactly 2 of these little sets of 3 coils per second.
If you're interested in that, go and check out the entire video that Red did.
Yeah,
but
he shows how they ionize the air, how they create the thrust. Like, it's thorough.
yeah. So shout out to Dr. Horace Drew. That's pretty incredible. I wish, hope, pray that there's individuals out there that can somehow fund him and his projects and others like him, because I've said it before. It's time to start building. Did you guys?
Yeah, if we just wait for the government, we're going to be waiting for freaking ever.
Exactly. That's my sentiments. Exactly. Especially considering the current state of things. Okay, so I stumbled across this. Oh, no. First, we got to go into American Airlines. So this event happened with American Airlines not denying possible UFO spotting, says talk to the FBI.
Yeah, just the other day.
This happened. So I'll go ahead and play the audio for you guys so you can hear it. An American Airlines passenger jet traveling from Cincinnati to Phoenix encountered an apparent UFO over northeastern New Mexico Sunday afternoon. The pilot on Flight 2292 radioed around 1 p.m. CST and said that the unidentified object was flying right on top of them, according to a transmission recorded by Steve Douglas on his blog, Deep Black Horizon. American Airlines verified to Fox News that the transmission is from Flight 2292. Do you have any targets up there? We just had something go right over the top of us, the pilot said in the radio transmission. Okay, so let's go ahead and listen to the radio transmission. Check this out.
With Fundrise, the same kind of real estate.
Man, they always do that to me with the commercials.
Right. It's interesting that they're super willing to admit a lot of this stuff now. I mean, they're literally telling them, like, yeah, it happened, but go ahead, call the FBI if you need answers.
Here we go. Oh, we want to... Hold on.
I hate to say this, look like a target's up here. We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost...
Thank you, Spirish Malonen.
I was just going to say that. Thank you.
Right over the top of us. Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us. Have any targets up here? We just had something go right
He's
over
better
the
than me.
top
He
of
was
us
super
that,
calm.
I hate to say this, looked look like a long cylindrical object that almost looked like a cruise missile.
Yeah, these people that have this kind of thing happen and they're all super calm, they trip me out.
I'd be up there nosediving the plane.
But
like,
you know,
what the hell?
if you see it multiple times, you get that way with this stuff, though. Honestly,
And I hate to say it.
how do I get rid of this? Why is it not disappearing off my screen? Like, oh, there we go. I got it. Okay. All right. So, and the other thing, other than that, the American Airlines. So, what was the resolution with that? We need to get to that.
They admitted that it happened. They admitted that it was a UFO, and they said if you have any questions, call the FBI.
Right.
And the FBI, of course, says we can't confirm or deny, but
right. American Airlines confirmed the radio transition is authentic, but did not give any further comment on the possible alien encounter.
Mm-hmm.
And the FBI did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Tuesday. So
imagine that.
And it's, yeah, right?
I mean, but the fact that they're literally telling people, like, yeah, call the FBI.
Yeah, that is
At least
interesting.
they're not denying
right?
it now.
Right.
You know?
That's true. Yeah. Okay, so I thought this was an interesting UFO incident. So this happened back in 2013 in Aguadilla. And I think I remember when this happened. So I'm going to play the video for you guys real quick. So let's see. This, I don't want to play that because it's kind of long. What kind of aircraft can travel not only through the atmosphere, but also through water at high speeds? Scientists who've analyzed the thermal images of a flying object recorded in Puerto Rico are trying to figure out what could have done this. A team of analysts working with SCU, the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies. I've never even heard of them before until I read this. A private group of scientists, military analysts, and investigators produced a report analyzing the incident. It is a comprehensive review of thermal, visual, and sensor data related to an unusual series of events in and around the Aguadilla, Puerto Rico airport in 2013. And here is a video of the incident. This thing's kind of cool. It like flies into the ocean. I think we'll start at one about here. Check this out.
That thing is moving.
Yeah, it's going, isn't it? And watch, it's just going over the airport, cruising around, and then it just flies into the water. It's wild. Look at the little guy go.
Is this the one that they said split into two, or no?
I don't think so. He just dips into the water and dips back out. It's coming up here in a second. There you go. I think it's... Watch. Man. Oh, look, it's closer up now. Look at him go. See, he just went into the water. Did you see that?
That's crazy.
Out of the water.
It looks almost like...
and no...
shape it like the Pinto.
Oh,
the
like
UFO
the, yeah, it does
Pinto
kind of look like the UFO
we saw
Pinto,
last
doesn't
week.
It? Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, it does. Pretty wild. How it just goes into the water, isn't stopped.
Just swoop.
Yeah.
Right?
No change in speed, nothing. Amazing. Super, super cool. Yes, so let me see.
Oh, it did split.
Oh?
This is the one.
Whoa. Is there anything this one doesn't do? It does look like the UFO Pinto, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Was that last week's show that we showed the UFO Pinto?
Yeah, because that was one of the ones that Mark sent us.
So, yeah. Wild. Okay, so it's still going. Look. I wonder if it comes back.
Who was filming this? Do we know who was filming this?
That's why I was going to go to the article. Let's go to the article real quick. Okay, let's see. Rick Hoffman, one of the co-founders of SCU, 26-year-old systems analyst for the U.S. Army, says the case information and thermal images originated with a pilot who works for the Department of Homeland Security. When Mystery Wire asked Hoffman in a recent interview about the video, Hoffman said they tried to pass it up their food chain, if you would, up to Homeland Security, while the Homeland Security said, well, we don't look into that stuff, you know. You pass it down. They also attempted to go up to the Air Force Intelligence and Air Force Intelligence. The research showed the pilots were told these agencies don't do anything with UFOs anymore. they, the pilots, wanted the video to be scientifically looked at, not UFO related, because again, the stigma that goes along with UFOs, Hoffman said. So we pulled it. I think that's another reason they changed it to UAPs too, Foils. It's the stigma too. They wanted to disassociate
possible, yeah.
from the laughing stock that they've done with the UFO thing, because it's a mind game. You know what I mean? That now they're UAPs, so they're acceptable. It's okay. You can talk about them now, right?
Oh, well, then if that's, well, I mean, we see that anyway. Just change the word and then that's okay. Like, cage or overflow facility.
It's always mind
Yeah,
games.
just change the word. Same thing. It works.
Wanted the UFO video to be scientifically looked at, not UFO related, because again, the stigma that goes along with UFOs, and we just got together and said, well, we're gonna, what do you want us to do? Sign an NDA? And by the way, they have done background checks on us to actually see that we could actually come in and work on this very well, and we passed that. And we basically honored the fact that we're not going to talk about the witness's name. Interesting. And we're not going to give that, but we wanted to do this scientifically. Rich Hoffman has a long history in ufology, but also works for the military. In a wide-ranging interview with Mystery Wire, Hoffman described how he got into ufology and how he balances it with his real job. Hoffman also talks about how the Aguadilla UFO incident led to massive investigation with the SCU. So there's more here. There's like 3 or 4 videos in this article, you guys, and the article is linked below if you'd like to look into this more. There's quite a few different videos on this.
That is a good sighting. I mean,
look who taped it, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's official.
Yeah. So, and that happened. I think I remember when that happened, though, but it was a while back, but I think I remember when it happened. So, yeah. So tonight, you guys, tonight is an unusual night. We have no Space Weather Girl tonight. No Space Weather News. I could give you her brief synopsis that she sent me. Why don't I do that real quick? So let's see. So Alexis said, the solar temperament has been active the last 3 days. I've witnessed medium to low level injections from the sun, making the next 3 days potentially intense, but nothing alarming. The full moon last night, Saturday, has now passed, so we will be back to more restful sleeping. The Schumann resonances in Russia have been showing quite quiet waters with a juxtaposed pulsing background signal until just this afternoon here in North America, which now we see an amplification in the extremely low frequency range, 0.3 to 13 hertz. Highest amplitude was the 12.9 hertz hitting at 30. Those are the alpha and beta wavelengths for the neurological side of this. The magnetics are currently quiet. Solar wind impact and aurora is lower. A good time to recover because Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we may see more geomagnetic disturbances. So, yes, Alexis couldn't be with us tonight, so she sent me that brief synopsis of the space weather for you guys that I could go ahead and read to you. So, yeah, that about does it for the show. Just a couple of quick announcements before we close out for the night. Foil does have a new video up going into further details on the defense situation and, Biden and all of that. So definitely go and check that out. You can see that on her D-Live, temporarily Foxhole, or her YouTube channel. What is with me tonight? All right, so Wednesday night, I don't know what's going to happen with Wednesday. I have a pre-recorded interview with Mary Rodwell that I'm going to be releasing, but I'm not quite sure when I'm going to be able to get that out. So Wednesday is probably just going to be canceled altogether. But the next Wednesday on the 10th, I will have John Paul Rice on with me. So that's going to be really... Yeah, that's going to be really, really interesting. I'm excited for that. It's going to be awesome. So definitely come and check that out next Wednesday, the 10th, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Conspiracy Couch will definitely be on this week.
Yay!
Thursday night. Yeah, Thursday night, 7:30 p.m. Pacific, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. The topic on Conspiracy Couch this week is going to be Bigfoot. So definitely come by, say hello, bring your Bigfoot stories. Let's do this. Let me go ahead and empty the chest on D-Live.
Oh, yes. Give these people their prizes.
Yeah, I gotta give them their prizes or they'll get mad. They get really mad. Okay, I gotta mute this. Here we go. Okay, so emptying the chest now on D-Live. Distribute rewards. Here we go. I think. Here we go, distributing rewards.
Woohoo.
Okay, so I think that's it for our announcements. And
Thanks, mods.
yeah, thank you so much, mods. Thank you to those that have super chatted. We really, really appreciate your support. Couldn't do what we do without you. So thank you so much. And let me see, the rewards are getting there, but they're not done yet.
Well, guys, like, share, subscribe. All our links are in the description below. You already know you can donate directly to Space Force News live at loyaltothefoil.com. Just specify that it is for Space Force News. That's also linked in the description below. And meet us here next Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, for another super awesome episode of Space Force News Live. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay loyal.
We are your news in this dimension and the next. Good night, space peeps. We'll see you next Sunday.
Woohoo!